That's a good sign. So, yeah. Um, seems crazy, but this whole fucking shit is crazy. It's good for me, and it's good for you. So, I don't know what else to do. I'm just gonna have to, right? Left brain activity says you're fucking nuts. Yeah, maybe. So, being able to hit that lower tone, right? That's the intended. Um, that's how the flute's supposed to sound. And so that's a good sign because if I can't play it, it means I'm too much in my head. So this is a good thing. Even though no one's here, I'm connected. So that's good. So this flute, right, I can't play it, right, if I'm all in my left brain. And I can get that high tone if I'm halfway. And I can get the low tone if I just let go. And it's a very light breath. So, how we save the world, right? Does it need saving? Yeah, there's urgency for sure. We can't keep doing the same thing. But yeah, saying anything or saying there's a way to do it is not how to do it. So that's the conundrum, that's the paradox. And learning the hard way doesn't do it either. I realize that, you know. And maybe it's just an individual thing. I don't think so. There's something about this place, right? About being human, right? And that we know through relationship, right? And this doesn't mean like we have all of these, this baggage attached to these words, you know? Doesn't mean your relationship with your partner, right? It does, but it means all of the relationship, right? And if you listen to my podcast, which you fucking should, um, right, original value is from our relationship with nature, right? Because we're alive. Things that keep us alive have value, and those are the things that we all fight over, right? When we're in this fallen state, um, imagine hunter-gatherer, right? There's barely any of us walking the earth, compared to now. And are we fighting over resources, right? Are we fighting to protect our hunting grounds? Or is it more of a uh, comprehension, right, of the actual relationship? And so you think of the chimps, the chimpanzees, and when Goodall discovered that the chimps will go to war with each other, right? She was devastated, devastated. But this was confirmation for everyone, right? That this is how nature works. Um, but by the way, I'm just doing 18 breaths because I already did the standing, but 18 is enough, right? I wanted to mention that the letting go can happen without any conflict because you let go when you're on the out breath. You let go on the out breath. Um, when you are breathing out, you don't settle, you extend, right? And that is a letting go. It's like the inverse, right? You're extending upward, and you get the feeling, you have the comprehension, right? When you're breathing out, a gossamer out breath that makes no noise, and you extend your spine upward, then you have that experience of letting go. And if you watched yesterday and the day before's, right, you get what I was saying, right? There's no system that can permit you to become aware. You have to just do it. And there's nothing on the outside that will allow you to be aware, fully aware. And we're using the Krishnamurti's definition of aware, which is you let go of who you think you are. You let go of thought. Thinking can only occur um, because of experiences, right, of the past. So each moment is a brand new moment, and every moment you die, right? And what? And then you are reborn again. There's no ashes to rise from, right? This phoenix concept is what our civilization does. This is the broken cycle that we continue to do. And that's not it, right? It's every moment, every moment. And so when you can make that realization, you can feel what it feels like to let go of everything and just be. There's no becoming, right? There's no what I was. There's no what I am. There's just being, being. Uh, and that is the critical uh, change that is required for all of us. If you can live every moment as if you are just being born, and then as that moment passes, let it pass as if you were dying. And that's the only way that learning can occur, actual learning, right? What we have is an accumulation of knowledge that um, our technical ability um, divides us further from our connection to nature, from natural law, despite it, uh, you know, this is where it gets tricky to think about. And, right, the idea is to not think, um, to not carry anything from the past as you observe. And that's how something new can arrive in this world. And so it's not a disintegration of your mental faculties, right? It's an expansion of them, right? Uh, the accumulation is actually a limitation, right? Because it is the sum, right, of thus far, the sum thus far, right? And so if you take that and as you are attempting to learn, right, then you're um, if you take your accumulated knowledge, right, as your filter for what, for for the new, then you're not getting anything new. Uh, and so, despite our technical knowledge advancing, right, we stay exactly the same up here. And so, we need something new to arrive, right? And so, in order for that to happen, we have to let go of the experience. And this is something that I'm going to talk about on the upcoming interview that I'm going to do on the 5th on Raised by Giants. So keep your eye out for that. It probably is going to be live on YouTube, maybe, or it might be a Rockfin episode. But um, right, what is the meaning of life? Right, we're probably going to discuss that a little bit. And a lot of people say that experience is the only thing that we're here for, right? And yes and no, right? If it's to remember, then no, right? If it's to experience the constant unfolding of the dance of polarity, then yes. So, thus far, right, whatever I've experienced, uh, um, to carry that with is not the mission. So, I did the poem of the day yesterday, and instead of it just being stream of consciousness, as I've been doing, I edited it because something told me to do this a Green Knight series, right? And as you know, the original um, poem is a poem, right? It's written in a certain meter, right? In uh, it's Middle English, I believe. Uh, so I'm rewriting it again uh, in modern English in a poem format, but I'm not attempting any rigid structure to it. So I'm letting it come out and editing to allow the story to be compelling. And so I'm telling it in non chronological. So check that out. Also, check out the torrent, right? Um, that poem, right, is a banger. And, right, the other one that I wrote, which was about keeping your mind still in order to receive the transmissions, right? That's actually really important. and but that has, you know, people are way more interested in that one, and I think it's probably because I put Starfield um, as the imagery instead of flowers and weeds. But so I got to take my kid to school here in a minute. But I really didn't want to do this morning. Um, but I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep showing up for you guys. Right? I mean, these are a commission, right? This is a belt buckle. So I don't know if y'all knew that I make jewelry. So if you want a custom piece with, right, this is one of the things I can do. It's a hard thing. It's not easy to make jewelry, but I got commissioned to make these things from the Goonies. It came out pretty badass. It's a double ring. So if you have a crystal or a stone you need set, remember stones carry vibration, right? Crystals have vibration. And just as a preview to the next episode of the podcast, which I know y'all have been waiting. So I don't, right? Green has nearly 10,000 downloads, right? For only 24 episodes. So that's right, pretty decent, right? I want you guys to know that there's a listenership here, right? This isn't just out of the blue. But as a preview to the next episode, which is on gender, right, which is a polar relationship, right? Natural law is about polarity and frequency, right? It is the properties of waves. That's what natural law is, right? And when you make this understanding, right, it's not about opinion or interpretation, right? It just, that's what it is. It's a science. Um, the properties of waves are pretty much, that's what they are. And we know those properties fairly well. And if you use that as a way to come at the seven principles, right, then you can make this leap, right, of this comprehension of polarity and frequency and cause and effect, right? And to live in a way that is prescribed by the ancients, was prescribed by the ancients, in cultures that existed previous to the cataclysm that changed everything. This is not up for interpretation either, right? The evidence is so fucking piled on, right? But when I say that I want to critique people, it's in the way they interpret something so fucking obvious, right? And so then they muddy the waters, and then it becomes an opinion and a tribe game, right? Oh, that's just your opinion, and it's like, fuck off. There are some things that are objective, right? And so I will critique these big personalities that are in a camp and have a tribe and have a followership because they're interpreting the fucking data wrong. They have it mostly right, but one little bit of poison will fuck up your whole chicken soup. And so who else is fucking talking about it, right? We have words, right? You can paint yourself into a corner with your word bucket, and it's possible to do, right? I've done it, but I'm the only one going out there fucking, right, making sure that someone is, I'm going to try to paint that floor without painting into a corner, right? And I got to use words. Everyone else is making declarations and claiming, right? And this is where it gets tricky, is that there is objectivity, right? There is an objective truth, that which is, right? That which has occurred, right? Because we can't go back, right? Maybe we can have a time machine, or a way to look back, but it's still the timelines. Anyway, all of this interpretation is kind of stupid, right? Let's talk about the critical issues and not uh, and realize that there isn't an opinion, right? That this is how it is. And one of the things is that the Earth was destroyed mostly, and we barely fucking survived. Right? However that happened, we maybe can't know, right? But we definitely know a massive flood happened, right? And the civilization that was there before had a golden age, and at that point it ended because almost everyone died. And since that moment, we've been living in this diminished state, right? And repeating the same pattern over and over. And it's possible to do so, right? Because not all of us die every time civilization collapses. So we can continue on, and that's not enough, right? That's not good enough. That's not why we're here. That's not why this place exists. So, yeah, I gotta get going. But I'll see you in the morning, and it'll be between 6 and 7, thereabouts every day. Mountain time. So be aware. Um, oh, and so yeah, I still didn't do the preview. I kind of did the preview. Okay, principle of gender, right? So comprehension of the 7 hermetic principles. If you fully comprehend it, you can live by natural law, right? Uh, and it's not up to interpretation. That's what that whole fucking thing was about. Is that I will critique people who uh, want to say that this shit is up for interpretation, and it's not. And so I will challenge you when I hear you say the wrong thing. So a principle of gender, right? I haven't hit it right yet. In episode 9, I do Green Knight, and the gender is in there, but it's highly cloaked in. That whole story is about, uses these human sensibilities in order to tell the story that we can't cloak our these concepts in our human sensibilities, like in our experience, in our tradition, right? In our what we think things are. And so the principle of gender carries all of this baggage. And it's impossible to talk about, and everyone, right? Talking to a woman about it is tricky, and that's what I want to do. All right? And I think I have someone uh, lined up to be scheduled, and I've been saying that, but um, it's hard to pin people down, and it's a scary subject, and people are afraid to go on record. And but I think I have someone who has the confidence to do it, and also to allow me to, dig into it. And it's not that far to dig, right? But I'll hit bone right away, right? With my trenching tool. I'll fucking hit bone right away, and we'll see who gets triggered. But yeah, principle of gender, it's a polar relationship, right? It's male, female. It's not about sex, right? Although sex comes into it. It's about um, reproduction, right? But in the ways that the universe reproduces itself, right? Is sex is just a tiny fucking part of that, right? The animal kingdom or whatever, right? Uh, the way that mushrooms reproduce, right? Let's take a look at that fucking shit, right? Uh, that is alien shit right there. But yeah, it's a polar relationship, and so it's you can't ascribe all of these human ideas to it, right? You have to start from the beginning, right? Which is maybe there wasn't a beginning, but there definitely is an unfolding of the universe, a dance of polarities, and So gender is another polar relationship that requires that allows the universe to continue, right? To reproduce itself, right? And it's a self repetition, reproduce itself, self repetition, right? It is, and this is again, all of the principles are contained in every fucking principle. All of them are in each one. And that is a fractal. And that's what I was just describing, a self-repeating pattern, right? That is the principle of correspondence, as above, so below, right? At the macro and at the micro, right? Um, at the super dimensional and at the subdimensional, right? All of the whole fucking spectrum, right? That is how waves operate, right? Waves interfering with each other, right, are a self-repeating pattern. So there it is, right? There's the preview on the principle of gender. We're going to go hard because female, right? The female aspect, right, comes first. That is the negative terminal on a battery, right? The cathode. That's where all of it flows from, right? It requires fucking the male to create the dynamic, the electrodynamic action, right? But female comes first, right? And so if we want to have this dynamic transition to the next phase of human existence and not just repeat the same pattern or get put into stasis, right? It's up to the fucking females to take the first fucking step. And good Lord, you can't say shit to a female. So I'm going to throw that out there. Anyway, you guys, yeah, I got to prepare to take my daughter to school. And because I co-parent, right, with another female, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best, y'all. And she's an amazing individual, this younger one. And my older one is now at college. And I miss her so much. Both amazing females. Okay, till next time, you guys. Bye.